welcome back to our review of Atlanta Goes to Europe and Crazy White Shenanigans. This is the Curry Gumbo podcast with Nicole and Ashley.
Okay, we are back. The crew is finally all together. Is this the first episode of this season where we see everyone is together?
They weren't, because Paperboy wasn't in the scenes with Van and Darius, right?
Paperboy and Earn were not in the scenes with Van or Darius.
Okay. So season 3, episode 3 of Atlanta. And I still have the question, Van, why are you here?
Because the relationship between her and Darius has to blossom. I still get the hits.
So I kind of liked, you notice the beginning scene where first it's Earn and, first is Paperboy walking down the street.
Yeah.
And then the camera pans to Earn. So it's like Earn and Paperboy walking down the street.
Mm-hmm. And
then the camera pans to Darius. It's like, okay, Earn, Paperboy, Darius walking down the street. And then Vanessa. I'm like, girl. Yeah.
That was beautifully shot. I just thought that was just gorgeous. And I think it does a lot as far as storytelling is concerned, because it says something about our expectations as far as who the core group is. And I think it's really making a case for Van being a part of the group, because
like, why is Vanessa there? But okay.
Because we saw Paperboy, but we hear Earn. So we knew he was there. And then I think what it does is Paperboy alone is enough, but it also isn't, because it's not just, the show centers friendship and family so much that I expected Earn to be there. And then when I saw Earn and Paperboy in the frame together, I said, okay, this is a complete package. I can do an episode with just these two. Then when I saw Darius, I said, oh, well, this is also complete. And I'm happy about it because I love Darius. And then when I saw Van, I said,
like, I said, why? Well, why? But you know what? But I think what this show is trying to reframe our minds is even the reframe our minds about friendships and relationships. And Earn calls her his friend, like later when they get to the house party. Mm-hmm. And someone asked, oh, who is that? And he's like, oh no, she's just a friend. So I don't know if he was just saying that just to not go too deep, or
I think it ramps up.
You really think of her as a friend?
I think it ramps up the tension between the two, because you do wonder, what is the status of their relationship? Like, what is the real status? And does he indeed think of her as a friend? I think the statement was made so that we could question it. But I also think that, do you think Paperboy and Van are friends?
No.
Okay, so I don't either. I think Paperboy or Al doesn't really need Van around. I think Earn does. So what it also does is it shows, like, even though Paperboy is the celebrity, the show still centers Earn. This is Earn's show. Like, everybody here is connected to Earn in some way. And
because I questioned Darius and Paperboy, because I'm like, I'm sure Earn is a common denominator between Darius and Paperboy too.
Now, see, I don't think that.
So you think Darius and Paperboy have their own friendship outside of Earn?
Absolutely. I think the first season showed us that, because Earn wouldn't have anything to do with Darius because he was just Al's friend. And I remember when Al needed some money and Darius was like, I can help you. We have to get into like selling these dogs. Like,
okay.
And so they do that.
Season 1 was like 10 years ago. So
it was, but I remember this because I remember what Darius said, because you know how Darius is. Darius was like, oh, in like 6 months, we're going to get a return on our investment. And Ernest's like, Darius, I needed the money right now. I don't have like 6 months. And so Darius, I think, gives him a phone to trade in for money or something like that. And then after that exchange, Darius says, I guess that makes us friends. Like he says that. And I was like, okay, so now there's going to be this relationship between these two.
But okay, but then so does that mean they're connected through Earn?
I think that Darius and Earn are connected through Al. I don't think that Earn and Darius would be friends were it not for Al. I don't.
Okay.
So, and I think that's another reason that like solidifies Van's presence there, because Darius doesn't have to be there. And I guess that also like that goes against what I was saying earlier, like it's Earn's show because everyone there is connected to Earn, because Darius wouldn't necessarily be connected to Earn. So maybe like the connective tissue is a little sloppy here. It's not all going to one person. It's going to multiple people, because I also feel like Van in a way is connected to Darius in a way that hasn't been discussed yet, but they're going to have to discuss it because they saw someone be murdered. They're going to have to discuss it.
Yes, but still through Earn. Earn is Van is only there because of Earn. She's not there for Darius or Paperboy.
I wonder if, I don't know, because now it seems like she's going off and doing her own thing, but I guess that's toward the end of the episode, and we will get to that. But yeah, so where are they?
Earn is worried. He's like, hold on now, what you doing? What's going on?
I'm less worried about her. I was very worried at the beginning, but now I'm less worried, and I'm like, okay.
I'm more worried towards the end.
Really?
Because when Earn said he called her mom to check on the baby, and he said the baby's good, but her mom is really worried about her. And that's when he was like, I'm worried, like, is there something? He was just like, I'm kind of worried too. Like, if your mom is worried, then maybe I should be worried about you too.
It seems like Van has come to some type of understanding as far as whiteness is concerned, and she's taking on a more active role as it relates to how she wants to deal with racism. She's stealing people's stuff. The first she stole a statue, like a little ornament in that man's
house.
Let's
set this up. Okay, we didn't properly set this up. So we're still in Europe. The crew, the foursome, they're walking to this party. They're trying to find this address. They're in London. And I knew they were in London. I don't know if you noticed, because of the intro music. I can tell it was some UK rap. So we're in London. They're trying to find this house party of some millionaire. They find the address, but the place looks kind of shabby. They're like, there's no way a millionaire lives here.
A billionaire, I believe he is. He's a billionaire.
Yeah. But the address is kind of shabby place, and the person opens the door. It's kind of dirty and dingy inside, and they're like, hey, we're looking for, can't remember his name, and they have the correct address, and they're like, okay, where are we? Like, what kind of a place is this? It doesn't look like a party is anywhere near here. So they go up a couple flights of stairs, go through some doors, and they're in this like luxury apartment that's hidden away.
Yeah.
And even Darius is like, yo, this is genius. You have like a hideaway. What do you call it? A hideaway. That he said that's the decoy house. And this is like the real house. It's like, so this luxury apartment is hidden inside of a shabby apartment, which crazy, but
there's also like I feel like a visual component, like a visual metaphor taking place, because that billionaire penthouse is sitting on top of that shabby, which if, it to me, it's like, y'all just it just needs a good cleaning. Like it needs to be like, revamped.
But
And
even
this
if
is a
you cleaned it
nice,
up, it could be, I think the house is decent, but it's not worth $1 billion. It's not that
no,
luxury
it's not.
apartment.
But I guess
The neighborhood, it's not a rich neighborhood.
and I guess like the point that I'm making is that you can't have billionaires without like siphoning money from, like someone has to be poor in order for someone has to be exploited in order for there to be billionaires on this globe. So I think that having that billionaire penthouse on top of that shabby townhome is a wonderful way to like visually represent like the nastiness of capitalism.
Yeah, in order to have capitalism, we need people at the bottom.
Yeah.
To be people at the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're in this, luxury penthouse apartment, and this is where Van is stealing. What is she stealing? Art pieces, statues.
And she doesn't feel like herself. She doesn't feel like the Van. It's like, I don't know if there's a vacancy in her eyes, but there is just a differentness. She feels different. Wonderful acting.
She's very aloof.
Wonderful acting, because
aloof.
She's not saying anything, but just in the way that she's presence
moving through the place. Yeah,
absolutely.
She's moving through the place as if like she knows these people, or if this is like hers. Like she's at home. Like it's not like this is a stranger's house party that you don't know these people. You're just here with your friend, aka your daughter's father. Mm-hmm. So like, but she felt really comfortable in these people's house, just going, even though at the episode, going through different rooms, making herself out like she just felt like, okay, I'm here mingling with the people, pushing people in the pool.
Notice everyone else, Al, Ern, and Darius are in these, everyone is connected to another person. Al is commingling with Nando. Ern is dealing with that Black artist whose art is bad, and that white guy. Darius is dealing with this guy named Socks. None of them are in very powerful positions. Things just keep happening to them. Notice how, and we'll get to it, but Van isn't connected to any white counterpart in the party. No. And even when she interacts with them, she's the one who's being very aggressive. She's pushing people in pools. It's as if Van has come to accept the violence of whiteness, and she's like, oh no, I'm gonna react back. Like, you wanna play violent, I'm gonna play right along with you. That is what it seemed, that's what seemed to be happening with Van, as far as I can see.
Did you notice there's a lot of Black artwork on the wall?
I did not.
When Darius was talking to Socks, I think, in the kitchen, when they had that incident with the Asian woman, they were with this, there was this portrait of looking at African woman, beautiful portrait. It was just like the face and the shoulders with the breast and like a neck piece on. You can tell this was like African artwork.
I did notice that, actually, because I was like, is Darius going to mention breasts? Like, is Darius going to pay attention to that?
But then throughout the house, I just saw different, like, this was very like African art, not just basic art. So I thought that was really interesting for this to be this rich white person's house. And maybe Van noticed that too, and that's why she was stealing them artifacts.
She's like, they're mine. I know you stole them. I know you got them. I know you got them through inappropriate means. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take these back. Take for the scene. I would like to talk about Darius and the Asian young lady who assumed. So Darius is trying to get some gin, and he he says, "Excuse me," to this woman, and she's like, "Oh, no, thank you. No, no, I'm engaged." He's like, "Girl, I just wanted some gin, you know." And I lived in California for a while, and black
A
men hit
lot
on me
of,
all the
yeah.
time. They love Asian women. How did you feel when she said that? Not even how he reacted to it, but when she said that.
You know what? It reminded me many years ago, probably around 10 years ago, at this job I had back then. This this guy, this black guy, he told me the same thing. Like he was from, I think he's from Washington State, but that whole West Coast area, Washington State, California, Oregon. And he was just like, black guys there are into Asian girls. They don't date a lot of black girls. And I did not know that. And so that's what she said brought me back to what that guy at my old job said. I was like, oh, like I guess that's true.
Even if it is true, I think there's a way of delivering. I think just because something is true doesn't mean it has to be said.
Oh, definitely.
And also I think that while what she says isn't the most violent thing, I think it comes from a violent place. Was she intending to hurt people? No. But I think that, girl, if you spend so much time in California and you know that these black men who come up to you, you have just made the assumption that all black men love Asian women. I would assume that.
You're not in California right now, so
Hmm.
I said,
Yep.
we're not in
Exactly.
California.
Yeah.
Honestly, what it brought me to is that, honestly, when I hear about black men who they don't date, I don't even care. I really don't. I don't even
Because
have
it's
the
like,
energy to
honey,
care.
we don't even want you. We don't even want
Exactly.
you.
But then, like I said, like 10 years ago at my old job, when the black guy actually told me that, I was just like, oh, so I didn't realize the dating preferences based on where people live. Because growing up, I realized growing up in Atlanta, how in a way that was a privilege because it is a black city and you're surrounded by a lot of black people. You don't have that. I never felt that tension of like, oh, is this guy gonna like me because I'm black, or feeling like, oh, he's gonna pick a Hispanic person or an Asian person, because there weren't any. It was just all black people. So I didn't grow up feeling like that.
Even when
So
I
I don't
was
know.
like super young, living in New Orleans East, there was a very high Vietnamese population, but I never saw a lot of partnering among like black men and Vietnamese women. Now, maybe partnering is a nuanced term. Maybe there was like a lot of physical connection, but for the most part, I just saw black people with black people, you know?
Yeah.
So there's that. But Darius kind of, I noticed that Darius just, he's like, girl, the gin. I don't, you know what I mean? Like he
Like,
makes a joke of it.
congratulations.
Yeah, like that's wonderful. I think that he can do that because in that instance, the black male figure is the one who has options there. I think I
Right.
have seen, in that sense, I have seen black women get annoyed with stuff like that. And on the opposite end, I've seen black men, and we're dealing with like heteronormative stuff. So I've seen black men become annoyed when it's the opposite. Like when you have black women who kind of only date white men or non-black men, that's annoying to them. And I'm like, y'all don't be having nothing to say when, you know what I'm saying? Like that would, I don't know, that's just been my experience, but yeah. But the house kind of turns on her. They recognize this as a violent act, a racist act. And
who Socks brought it up first, right?
Socks said he saw what happened. And what's interesting to me is that, is Darius just under surveillance? Why were you involved in that conversation that tough for you to know exactly what happened?
Mm-hmm.
And so he keeps reminding Darius that what she did was wrong and so cruel, and she should be labeled a fascist. It's like, and there's
then
another.
they keep telling this story, and they're like embellishing the story to make it seem worse than what it is. And Darius was like, first of all, I was never offended, one, and that's not.
By the end of it, this girl was saying all lives matter. Like, the conversation is, it's like, what are you doing? And there's another character who is a person of color who comes up to Darius and was like, this is all white guilt. I wonder, like, why we needed him to say that, because I felt like, don't we already know that? Like, don't we already know that this was white guilt?
Let me think. When I thought about it, I wasn't thinking white guilt. I was thinking white people overreacting and making everything about them, which might
because it's like
it's white guilt, but I'm like, y'all just making this about you. Like, it's not about you right now.
Those white women who were crying, it's like you're using this moment to become a victim when nothing has happened to you.
Exactly.
Nothing at all. And it's also, it was important that this was an Asian woman, because would they have had the same reaction if this was a white woman? If this was a white woman who said that to Darius.
And all black guys, I live in California, and black guys hit on me a lot.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Probably not. And it's also a way for them to enact violence still on people of color. Like, that's that. So it was like white guilt, but also Asian connected hate to that, like, hate. It was just more, it was a vehicle for them to be violent. So that's what Darius is going through. Notice how Darius sees Van at some point and he tries to get her attention. And I just think that before episode 2, he would never try to get Van's attention at all. I think there's a closeness that needs to be had because of this experience that they share together. I'm telling y'all, something gonna happen.
Do you think Van was in the hotel room with Darius at the end of episode 2?
If she wasn't with him, she was thinking about him.
She was with somebody.
And who else would it be? Like, of course, yeah. If she was with someone, it was Darius. If she wasn't with Darius, she was thinking about Darius. Because who is Van acting like the most? Is she acting like Al, Ern, or Darius?
Darius.
Exactly. Like, so I feel like there's some type of exchange that has happened.
She got some of Dariusness on her. Got her walking around and engulfed in the Dariusness. Okay.
I feel like we can end with Al, but let's talk about the person Ern is with. So Ern is with this artist and he hates the art. He feels like this person is scamming. And
well, before that, they corner him into this idea that doesn't make sense, saying they want to use this house to bring other artists who come to London to use as like a studio, or just a place to sleep or whatever, to work on their art. And I'm just like, okay, like, and you're just gonna pay for everything. Like, how is this where's the business in this business model? Because it seems like you're just paying.
So like you're charging for subscriptions, but what are you?
Got to the subscription part. The white guy was just like, "Oh, I'll just pay for it," and he was like, "I don't understand." And then when the black kid comes he was like, oh, we forgot to tell him about subscriptions. And I was like, subscribe to what?
Yeah.
Like, what are we subscribing to?
The art. And
so
also
they have
like,
this, yeah.
I feel like that is also white guilt that is also connected to like siphoning Black creativity though. Because I think that it is common for people to say, oh, Black music is hot right now. Black art is hot right now. So we need to find a Black somebody who does something and profit off of that, you know, but I don't think he knows that he's being scammed.
Well, the guy is living in his house working, and then he said he paid like $500,000 so far on this guy. So it's like, now you have no business. You're paying money and not getting anything in return. Like, you're at this time you're just sponsoring a kid, a Black kid. So I don't even call it scamming, because where's the scam? Someone says, here, Ashley, here's $500,000.
Yeah, that's
just
true.
come live in my house and do art. And you're like, okay, like, where's the scam?
I wonder for that young man, like, what is your end game? How are you getting out of this? How are you getting out of this safely? That is what I wonder for that young man.
Or what's your goal?
Yeah. Girl, they got a Nando's in there. I've never been to Nando's. I want to go.
I know what Nando's was. Is it chicken?
I only know about it because I believe, isn't there one in Canada?
Oh, I have no
And
idea.
that peri sauce is like very famous. So it's just like a poppin' ass chicken place that people talk about. I'm sure that there is better chicken, but I think it's kind of like Zaxby's. Like, it'll do, and it's good, you know? So yeah. But Al finally meets the owner of the house, who is Fernando. No connection to the restaurant. He just wanted it anytime. So he had one built in his home. And this man invites him to a card game. No, he invites him to look at a tree. He said, do you like trees? And Al is like, of course. I think Al is thinking, oh, we about to go smoke some weed. But he takes him to a literal tree, and Al is annoyed.
So Paperboy and Nando is playing poker.
For big bucks. Paperboy was shocked.
Well, Paperboy, the only reason he went up there is because he knew he could smoke weed up there.
Yes.
So he said, I'm in. So they start so Nando is telling him this story about a ghost or a ghostly apparition that comes to him in the middle of the night. And it is wet, but also gray looking.
Yeah.
And Al is like, how is wet and ashy? Explain it. Explain it to me. I think that Al can sense danger. He's such a wonderful performer because you can sense on his face that he's about to tell me something that I'm going to be uncomfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Nando says, you're right, because it wasn't raining outside, it was so weird. And that's when I was like, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm really scared. So he says that he has sex with this ghost. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
So what do you think really happened, or do you think it was a ghost?
Yeah.
You think it was a ghost?
Maybe. Did he say he was dreaming?
I don't remember if he said he was dreaming or not.
He could have been. I mean, he could have been dreaming. That makes the most logical sense. Or maybe he was in a state. He didn't mention if he was using any drugs, but that would make another sense. Either dreaming, high, or maybe just in a altered state of mind.
In Toni Morrison's Playing in the Dark, Whiteness and the Literary Imagination, she investigates what she calls an American Africanism. She says it is an investigation into the ways in which a non-white, African-like or Africanist presence or persona was constructed in the United States and the imaginative uses this fabricated presence served. She goes on to say later on in the text that there were other, Africanism is not like solely an American thing. And so I know in this episode we are not in America, but this is an American show. And she does make a point to state that this is not limited to America. But the point about the Africanist presence, I feel like, is important to the white male project altogether. So she said, Africanism is the vehicle by which the American self, here will be the European self, knows itself as not enslaved, but free, not repulsive, but desirable, not helpless, but licensed and powerful, not historyless, but historical, not damned, but innocent, not a blind accident of evolution, but a progressive fulfillment of destiny. If there was a skinny, ashy, wet nigga in that man's house, I feel like it was a production that Nando created in his head because he has to preserve his white identity, and that is a way to do it. I think that's why you got all these people in your house. That's why you like having Black artists around you, that so you can know what you are not. So you can define yourself against the other, which is what you see. And while he is like telling this ghost story, Ern walking through the house and he see pictures of white folk with Black enslaved bodies in the back. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, why would you keep a picture like that in your house? And it's framed as if this is something to be proud of and not like a critical.
Probably don't think nothing of it.
Don't think anything of it.
Thing.
Probably think nothing of it. And that is the problem. But yeah, and so I think like what he calls making love to this presence is just his way of being intimate with the knowledge that he is a privileged person walking this globe. I know that thought isn't like fully fleshed out. You know, I ain't writing no essay on it. I ain't got no, you know, I can't speak to no other scholarly resources, but Toni Morrison is enough. And I feel like, you know, she would say like, yeah, sure, girl, I give it to you. I ain't watched that show and I ain't gonna watch it, but yep. Put that.
I mean, a simpler version is just a white man thinking the Black bodies are erotic. Like, of course, he's gonna have sex with a Black ghost, not a white ghost.
And when we think about stories of Black male bodies being lynched and private parts being cut off and being sold, and people, you know, I think about the James Baldwin short story where a white man witnesses a lynching that his father brings him to, and his father is like proud to do this, and he thinks about that when he's an adult, and suddenly he has the urge to fuck his wife. It's like erotic. I'm sorry, like it is, but that's what it is. Like
that caught me off guard.
Yes,
I'm laughing because like, it caught me off guard. I wasn't ready.
It's sadistic. It is fucking sadistic. Keeping body parts in jars and shit. It's like, come on.
Even with what they did to what's the woman from South Africa who went to Paris and
the Venus Hottentot. Yeah. And I mean, her even the story of her body being claimed by France, y'all acting like y'all having a hard time giving the shit back.
They had up until like 2002 or something. They had her body, they had her private parts analyzed.
It's ridiculous. And also, you know, she's being passed around in circuses and soldiers would pay to have sex with her. Like, this is disgusting, because you already know that the concept of consent is not even up for debate. Like, so her being like, you know, she didn't see any of that money. And like, and also she did not give consent to be a part of this sex work at all. Like, this is forced. This is rape. And you just know it didn't happen once.
No. It was multiple times.
Fucking disgusting. And y'all know the history of that, and y'all want to keep the body. I don't give a damn that Al cut down that tree. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn that
So Al cuts down a tree because he wins the poker game, and he's like, "Where's I won, so I'm owed some money." And Nando just leaves. Nando leaves. Everyone else leaves.
$40,000.
And Al is like, is he going to get the money? Because I'm owed some money.
And it feels so staged. It feels like everyone knows what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, from even the young lady who was dealing the cards, she gets up so quickly, so frantically, because she knows that Al is about to ask her, like, hey, how do I collect my cash?
Like, nope.
No.
So we get to the cutting of the tree, which is, we learned earlier that this tree, this man, he built his whole house around this tree. And so I was like, well, either it's my money or the tree. Pick one.
He be trying to fuck that tree. So Ern is calling the car. Ern's like, we got to get up out of here. And here's where I had a problem.
What?
They running all throughout the house. At no point do I see Ern looking back, looking for Van. Like, Van.
They left without her. They left without her. They got in the car and left without her. I'm like, so y'all
did Van say she was leaving? Like, did Van say she was leaving that house?
Where's she gonna go?
But did she say she was leaving? You know, when they were having the conversation about the pool, her and Ern, did she say, I'm gonna leave now, I'm just gonna take a walk around the town?
No, I didn't hear that.
I don't remember that. So I'm like, why are they not looking for Van?
And why would she leave alone?
I even see Darius about to stop and talk to the Asian chick who was, you know,
crying
because everybody hates her now.
Yeah, they think she's a racist.
So you worried about her, baby. Where's Van? You in love with Van. I have been saying this. I was like, is Darius going to be the one? Is Darius going to be the one ask where Van at? Darius going to be the one.
Oh, they got in that car and left without her.
But Socks is in the car, so we don't know where they going.
Yes.
Socks is the driver. Like, this whiteness is inescapable.
It's scary.
Inescapable. So yeah, so Ern calls Van. Van is somewhere at somebody's burger joint enjoying a magazine, ignores the call. Said, I don't know what that nigga up to, ain't my business.
But then that goes to show maybe she's just not in the right place mentally. I'm starting to be concerned about her.
Yeah.
Because one, her mama says she's concerned, and then she's acting a little strange at the house, throwing people in the pool.
But I just feel like the way she's going to navigate her new free self is just something that we haven't seen before. So we are thinking about it as sad or scary. I was wondering if Darius was going to look for Van, because shout out to Movies, Music, Sports, and Life with Jay Spro, because he listened to our episode 2 review, and he said, do you mind if I read his comment?
Go ahead.
7:52 timestamp. Darius stated that his parents are Nigerian in season 1. So I have not reviewed.
I missed that one, but season 1 was so long ago. I can't even remember.
So long ago, but listen, Lil Daddy gave us the timestamp. He said, go back and watch, go do your homework. I appreciate y'all love for Atlanta. The main thing I couldn't figure out is why Ern looked shocked that Van's room was next to his. Did he not pay for her room? And since when do women as attractive as Van walk in the hallway naked to get ice? Well, she was not naked. She had a towel.
In a hotel room, going outside of your room, you don't know what's going on. You don't know who else is in the room.
Yeah.
There could be a freaking robber running around. Like hotels are crazy. You have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And so you should always be cautious of your environment.
Yeah.
Making sure at any time, if you need to just run down the stairs.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in a towel like you're at home. Like, this is not your home.
I think there's a fearlessness to Van that
it is, but it's kind of fearless in a way that's kind of borderline, kind of concerning.
It is concerning. It is concerning only because I think we know what danger awaits as a result of that. Like, I know what danger awaits you stealing these things from this man's house. You pushing people into the pool at a certain point, they're gonna get tired of that. Like, I know what can happen to you. But yeah, Van ain't got time. Van ain't got a bit of time. Van is enjoying this soda, and I don't know what she just ate, but she is into this magazine article that she ain't got time.
But then the weird part is you're in Europe kind of with Ern. Y'all going on excursions together. Y'all staying at the same hotel. It's not like she took a European vacation solo and she just happened to meet up with him.
Okay, so back to the comment that was left on YouTube. Shout out to Curry Gumbo podcast on YouTube. Go ahead, you can listen there. You don't know which room you're gonna get when you pay for the room.
You can request. Can't you request to have 2 rooms on the same? You can request the same floor.
You can request, but we don't know what he requested. And he hasn't seen her all day. He knows she's there, but he doesn't know where she's at or where she's been, because she's been on a rendezvous with Darius, her new love, trying to figure out why they done assassinated this man, suffocated him to death.
True.
Real time. Like, that's what she's trying to figure out. So he hasn't seen her. So I think it is kind of like but I understand the question of like, why y'all acting surprised?
Exactly.
And why, like, Van, why are you acting like Darius asking you the question of like why you're here is, I don't, like, it just seems like, when are y'all going to tell us what's going on?
Yeah.
When are y'all going to tell me what is going on?
Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more Atlanta episode reviews. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Curry Gumbo. Bye.